And let's take a look at that story now in greater detail. 61-year-old Fita Khupe has been denied bail by the Protea Magistrates Court in Soweto. For an update on that judgment, we're now joined by our reporter Gillian Pillay. Gillian?
Very good afternoon to you, Peter. Yes, you know, a very elated Vlakfontein community, quite a lengthy bail application. They're going through all the detail from day one, from the time that those bodies were discovered. But just to take you through some detail from what Magistrate David Mahonga had gone through, he said that accused 1 and 2 Ernest Mabaso and Fita Khupe had acted in common purpose. It was premeditated, he said. He said that the state definitely had a strong case, and that even though accused 1 had now allegedly committed suicide, it doesn't mean that the case's state is any weaker. He also said that he couldn't see the court granting Khupe bail because Khupe might evade trial if given bail. He also said that you know, Khupe holds dual citizenship both here and in Zimbabwe, and that would be quite a dicey decision if he is given bail. He also said that there were outstanding witness statements that the police are still to get, and that might deter witnesses from actually coming forward and speaking out, and that these witnesses' identities are also known to Khupe. So he could possibly interfere with these further investigations. But just to give us a sense of, you know, from an NPA perspective, we're joined by Phindi. Phindi, the NPA is quite happy. You know, there was a lot of talk after the alleged suicide of Ernest Mabaso that the state's case, the prosecution's case, is phenomenally weak.
Well, we are glad that the court actually confirmed our arguments as sound arguments in law. It has also confirmed that it was actually a misdirection from the defense team to think that now that accused number 1 is deceased, then the strength of the state case has suddenly gone weak. So we are glad that the court found in our favor.
How are you feeling? You saw how elated the community was. This is what they've been waiting for, looking at how this case had a lot of twists. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, it was almost as if the case was, you know, a spanner into the works was thrown in this particular case.
Well, it was very unfortunate for people to believe that, as we have said as the state, that we never made any intention of using accused number 1 as a state witness. He remained an accused person together with accused number 2. So it was not true that the state's case was reliant on his confession, as it was said by the defense. But look, what we have achieved today is also a victory for society. Hence, we have seen them chanting happy songs, giving us hugs. You know, it really encourages all law enforcement authorities, especially our prosecutors. When they see people leave our courts with smiles, being happy, it makes them sleep well at night because they know that they have done their part. They have again touched one more life.
We know what this verdict means for the Vlakfontein community, but just for all communities who've had, you know, gender violence, crimes like this, and a horrific crime that we saw playing out the end of October. The magistrate did touch on that this particular, the IO and other state witnesses who had taken the stand had indicated that this would really be a blight on the judiciary if granted bail.
Indeed, yes. We have argued, amongst others, that it will disturb public peace. It will actually undermine public peace if he had to be released on bail. And to that effect, as the NPA, we led evidence of a witness who is one of the community leaders. So we are glad that from time to time our courts come to such conclusions, because this is the only way that the public can have faith in what we're doing as the criminal justice system.
I know it's early days to talk now, but I know that there are further investigations, and that circumstantial evidence would be crucial at the trial stage of this matter, looking at that accused 1 is no longer here to repeat the confession, but also to repeat that very damning allegations that he made in that affidavit that was read out in the bail court.
Well, as the magistrate said, that the state still has many options to secure a conviction against number 2, and he's convinced that the state case is strong against accused number 2, even after the death of deceased number 1. The magistrate is still confident that the state case remains strong. So it is now up to the prosecution working together with the police to prepare now for the trial stage, now that we have jumped this hurdle of the bail application stage.
That was the NPA spokesperson, Phindi, just relating, you know, what they have affirmed earlier, that the state definitely has a strong case. And we will be back here in April. In the interim, further investigations will be underway. Prosecution really has a lot of work ahead of them, the investigating team, to really bring to fore other links that was brought up in that affidavit of Mabaso. This court really reaffirming that what Mabaso had brought out during the bail application really could possibly lead to a prosecution of Fita Khupe. Back to the studio in Johannesburg.
Gillian, thanks very much indeed. That's Gillian Pillay covering that story for us. And of course, the latest is Fita Khupe has been denied bail in the Vlakfontein murder case.